Hey everybody, Ms. Dietrich here, helping you on question number 43 from the book 2016 book 2. Number 43 reads, residents of a small city voted on whether to allow a developer to build a shopping center. The number of votes in favor of the shopping center was 4,400, so let's put a little F for in favor. The number of votes against the shopping center was 17,600, so I'm just going to put a little A for against. What percent of the voters were in favor of building the shopping center? We don't know how many total votes there were in this situation until we add these two things together. So let's do that first. And let's take advantage of the fact that Book 2 does allow calculators. So we're going to add these using a calculator, even though we could do it in our head or do it with paper and pencil pretty easily. Hit the equal sign. Okay, and then we get this value. Alright, so the next part is to figure out what this number over this number would be, because remember, if we use proportions, we like to think of parts and wholes, and in the percent world, the all of it number would be 100, and the value that we put as the numerator would be the percent or the part. The part that we have here is this value right here, because remember we want the number that's in favor, which would be this value right here, 4,400. And the all of it number, or all of the votes, the whole, was the 22,000. Alright, so now we need to solve this proportion. A good strategy to use, anytime you have a fraction that can be simplified, I would recommend doing that. So you can clearly see that we can divide, we can start by dividing by 10. Essentially when you cross out a 0 in the numerator and a 0 in the denominator, you're dividing by 10. But the reality is we have another pair we can cross out. So really we just divided by 100. And now we're left with 44 over 220. Alright, so now we could even further reduce this. But since we have a calculator, let's just use the cross products. So let's find this cross product. We can do that in our head. 44 times 100 would be this. The other cross product going this way, 220 times P, would look like this. And now we're going to use our inverse operations to solve for P. The opposite of multiplying a variable by 220 is to divide it by 220. We'll do that on both sides of the equation to keep it balanced. This will all cancel out, and we'll have P on this side. If it's easier, I prefer to get rid of the zeros. So essentially what we've just done is we've reduced it by dividing both of these by 10. So really what we have left here is 440 divided by 22. And since we have a calculator, let's go ahead and pump those numbers in. 440 divided by 22. Just be careful when you cross out zeros to not put in the wrong value. And we get 20, and that's the percent. Now look at the answer choices. Is that a choice? It is. So we're going to go ahead and pick choice A.